Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. So the Pizza Pets game has been airdropped to over 400 communities and over 58,200 Bitcoin Pizza Pets have been airdropped, and players have been going crazy finding different ways to feed them and to find ways to evolve them faster. The ultimate goal is to collect all 11 different variety of pets and evolve them by feeding and caring for them all the way to the immortal stage. Once you have 11 of these different kinds of immortal pets, you can breed new pets and control the future of the Pizza Pets collection itself by controlling its supply and how many new pets come into existence. This is the ultimate end game. In this video, I'll be covering three things. First, I'm going to be going over where and how you can do general feeding, including utilizing the two sites that are available. So this includes feeding things like pizza and beer, and then the shower activities that you need to do for cleaning the poop of these pets. I'm also going to go into some advanced evolution and feeding techniques, which include some strategies such as mixing up the cocaine and steroid elements, mixing up other elements such as DMT. And then I'm also going to talk about the consequences and the profit matrix for using DMT to evolve your pet and profit by selling it on the open market, because evolved pets sell at a bit of a higher click than the regular ones. With that said, let's get into the first part where we're going to look at the Pizza Pets Top Fun site. And I'm going to start by feeding a pet or two with just some basic feeding items such as pizza, beer. We're going to look at cleaning them as well. So let's get right into that now. Right over here, I'm going to first of all connect my wallet. And after I connect my wallet, all of my pets are going to load. Now, I've accumulated quite a few pets, including buying some of them from the market and winning some of them as a ninja holder and through some communities. So in this wallet, I have quite a few pets. So first thing I'm going to do, you can batch these pets together and you can select all of your pets page by page. But because I want to show some things in this demo, I'm going to go through and feed only one of the pets. So as you can see over here, this is one of my pet types, and he has right now about 2.5 hearts left. So these pets are going to lose about 1 heart per day. So clearly I do not need to do the feeding right now, but we're going to go through it for the purpose of this video. So I'm going to go ahead and select this pet. I'm going to come down and choose my feed type. So I'm going to feed my pet. This one needs a heart. So I'm going to feed it pizza, which gives 1 heart and gives 25% chance to poop. And then I'm going to come down here and there are free options that they are suggesting. For me personally, I like to always be a bit more in control of my feed. So I'm going to go to mempool.space. And as I go to mempool.space, I can see the fees over here. So there's 6 sats per V-byte, 7 sats, and 8. 8 is the high. And I'm going to make sure that the fee that is being suggested here. So I want to make sure that the fee that is being suggested here is more than the highest fee. So it's 8 sats per V-byte. So I'm going to go with that. That's great. And it looks like it's going to cost about $6 to do this transaction. Now, feeding multiple pets is not going to be as expensive. So if I had selected multiples, you can see that it's $12 to feed 3. But it's about, let's take a look at one. It's almost $6 to feed one. So it does get exponentially cheaper if you batch multiple feeds together. But again, for the purpose of this show right here, actually, you know what? Why don't I feed a few of them since we are feeding pizza? So let's batch them together. So this is 6 of them right now. So 6 of them is going to be at $22. That's 22.448 divided by 6. So I'm coming at $3.74 per pet to feed, as compared to feeding only one of them at $6 a pet, which would mean that if I fed them individually, that would be $36. But because I'm batching them together, it's a lot lower of a fee. And now it is going to show me the wallet over here. So over here, as you can see, the address is blurred out, but there's a few other details that I do want to show you here as I scroll up. So it's showing the inscriptions that are involved in this. So every single inscription that is listed over here. And then it is showing, again, the address is blurred out, but it is showing the amount of BTC that is going to be spent on this. So I'm going to go ahead and confirm this transaction. And then I like to follow the transaction. So I'm going to open it on the Explorer. And once I open it on the Explorer, it will take a second for it to index over here, but I want to come back to the UI and see over here. You can see right here that the order has been submitted. I can X this out. I don't really need to look at that. And then what you'll see here after the transaction goes through is the heart should increase for each one of them. At least 1 heart should increase. And the way we look at this is I went back to the Explorer tab. So the Bitcoin blocks, for those of you that are new to the Bitcoin ecosystem, if you're familiar with Bitcoin ecosystem, you can skip past this part of the video. But if you're new to the ecosystem, Bitcoin mines its block roughly every 10 minutes. So you can see that there were almost 3 blocks that were mined 10 minutes, 8 minutes, and 6 minutes ago. And then the block previous was mined 23 minutes and 42 minutes ago. So it's not a fixed 10 minutes because it's a difficulty adjustment based algorithm. So since the last block was mined in about 6 minutes ago, this one will be mined in 10 minutes. So at this point, I'll speed up the video and wait for the block to actually mine. Once it is mined, it will go ahead and move to this side of the mempool explorer, and then these pets shortly after should update to have more hearts. So we'll wait till that comes up and we'll see that in the video over here. And while we're waiting for that block to mine, I do want to talk about a few things that will happen as a result of feeding the pets, right? So there's a few strategies that I'm going to cover in the next section, but I just fed my pets pizza, which shows over here as I zoom into this screen share. So let's do that. It shows that it gives me 1 heart, but it also increases the chance to poop by 23%. Because you fed the pet, it's gonna, obviously gain health, but it's also gonna have a chance to poop. Now the poop icon is actually gonna show up when it does poop, and then I have to give it shower in order to clean it. Now, if I don't do the shower, then the heart loss rate, right now it loses 1 heart per day. The heart loss rate is going to increase, is going to start to lose about 2 hearts per day. And you can actually view the feeding mechanics and detail right here as well by clicking on the pet's information page, where it actually shows you that, okay, hey, I'm a pet and that you need to feed me in order to gain hearts. And when you feed the pet itself, it obviously poops. And then if you don't clean the poop with a shower, his heart health is going to start to decay. So just something to keep in mind. So for now, we're still waiting for the mempool transaction to go through. Again, it's about 10 minutes away, and I will come back when that is finalized. Okay, so that one took a while, and that can happen sometimes, right? Because the previous 3 blocks were confirmed within 4 minutes. So this one ended up taking 21 minutes to confirm. Now that this block is confirmed, I'm gonna go over here to see if the pets have increased in heart. And once again, this can also take a little bit because after the blocks are confirmed, there's an indexing service that actually goes through and updates these pets. So let's take a look to see if these hearts have increased. Most of my pets had 2.5 hearts. So what I'm expecting is to see 3 hearts. And I want to kind of see how long it will take for these 3 hearts to show up. So right now it's about 1847 my time, and I'm going to go ahead and let you know how long it took for the hearts to actually show up. Okay, so while we're waiting for the hearts to show up, I do want to show you one thing. So on the Explorer indexer, the block has been mined, but Bitcoin works in a way where there are multiple nodes that broadcast the mine transaction to other nodes through essentially kind of like a gossip protocol. So as you can see in my Xverse wallet right here, if I go to BTC, it still says receiving ordinal. So that means that while the mempool where it is indexing information from has been updated, my Xverse itself has not been updated. And also this means that the indexing service that likely Pets team is using has also not been updated. So I'll have to give it a few more minutes to see the hearts updating, and then I'll let you know how long that process took for me. And then of course we'll see that in future transactions that we're going to try out here with different feeding types as well. Okay, so I've actually discovered something very interesting. There's actually 2 sets of transactions that are occurring. One, as you can see over here, a few minutes ago, my pets, these 6 pets, unlike the ones on the next page that still have 2.5 hearts each one of them, the first set of pets on this first page now have 3.5 hearts. So what occurred is when I sent this transaction to feed them, there was an initial send transaction which took the Bitcoin that was going to cost to feed these pets pizza, and it sent that transaction out. Now this is that transaction. I'm going to close these other pages. So this transaction was sent out. It looks like it was confirmed about 8 minutes ago. And you can see it confirmed after 21 minutes. So 8 minutes ago is when this one was specifically confirmed. So then after this was sent out, I noticed that there was another transaction in my wallet that was generated. And that transaction was the receiving transaction. This transaction, the block happened to confirm really fast. It confirmed 3 minutes ago, but this transaction did not seem to exist before the other transaction of sending the fee was completed. And once this transaction confirmed is actually when these hearts were updated. So it seems like you send out the feed gets processed, and then the reaction comes back, whether it's the increase of hearts, so on and so forth. So you want to keep that in mind, that you don't want to be feeding your pets last minute. If they're about to die in a block or 2, you're cutting it very, very close, because it's going to take 2 blocks potentially for the feed to process and then for the heart update to affect the health. So now that we've seen that, I'm going to be looking out for the poop sign. So as you can see, some of these pets have already pooped. And that means that for these pets, this one right here and this one right here, let me go ahead and zoom into them and show you. So you can see this one and the one on the right. These pets have the poop icon next to them. So that means that they have pooped, because there was a 23% chance, as you can see right here, with feeding them pizza, that they were going to poop. So some of them pooped. And now that means we get to try out the shower activity. So I'm going to go ahead and give them a shower to clean them up. And we're going to go ahead and see what happens with this transaction as well. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the fees myself on the mempool. So they're at 6 right now. And it says that I can send it through with a high fee of 6. That's fine. I'll go ahead and do that. And it's going to cost me about $8.50 to clean 2 of these pets. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And I am going to talk about in the next section of the video how you can reduce these costs by doing some advanced feeding and evolution techniques. But let's go ahead and feed these pets for now. So let's hope that X source will pop up here. And here we go. I have my X source popping out. Again, the Bitcoin address is blocked out for privacy. You have these inscriptions. Again, Bitcoin address popped out. And I'm going to go ahead and send this transaction. I'm going to open that on the Explorer, and you'll be able to see that right here. It takes a minute to index, but what I want to show you is on Xsource, you'll only see a send transaction right now. Oh no, actually it generates both transactions. I actually did not notice that first. So this is very interesting. So it generated the send and the receive transaction. So we have the send transaction right here with the transaction hash ending in 2638B. And then the rest of it I know is blurred out for you guys for privacy. And then the other transaction is the receive transaction. And that transaction is also, luckily, both of them are coming in the same block. So that's very interesting. In the previous block, because the fees had changed, and we can actually take a look at that. So let me look at the fee for this first transaction that processed. This is the first transaction that processed in the previous block. The fee was really high, 12.3 sats per VByte, which is great. So it processed in this block. But since the fees increased, the receive transaction, let me pull up the previous receive transaction that I have already received here. So that would be this one. So the reason that one took longer is because it only had a fee of 5 sats per VByte. And this block right here, let's go ahead and look at this block. This block had an average fee of 9 sats per VByte. So the fee had increased, right? So that is the risk with lower fee. Now, the latest transactions have gone through. Again, these things you don't have to worry about as much. Just keep in mind, don't wait till the last minute to feed your pets. So now in this case, both of my transactions are in this current block. One with a fee of 11.7 sats per VByte and the other one with a fee of 6 sats per VByte, which is, I'm assuming, the receive transaction. So I'm going to go ahead and wait for this over here to process. And then once that transaction goes through, I would be looking at the poop icon going away for these pets, because if I don't clean this, then what's going to happen is instead of losing 1 heart per day, my pets are going to continue to lose 2 hearts per day, which is obviously not something we want. So once again, we're going to wait for this transaction to confirm. And once the poop goes away, we'll get into the next section, which is going to talk about the advanced techniques and the advanced feeding and evolution techniques. Okay, so just as I was mentioning before, I noticed the exact same thing happened just now, where my first transaction, my send transaction that was showing where I'm assuming the fees are being paid to do the showering, is right here and has 11.7 sats per VByte as the fee. So that one is looking like it's going to get confirmed in the latest block. But my receive transaction has now been pushed back to the previous block. And the reason for that is because the fee was only 6 sats per VByte. I do have ways to accelerate this, but I don't want to be spending more money to do the same feed. So I'm just going to wait to play it out. But keep in mind, it looks like that when you shower or when you feed, the whole process can definitely take a few blocks, because the fees that are being automatically generated, it seems like by the server, are not sufficient enough to account and to complete the transactions in the highest fee block. So this is something to think about. I'm also going to submit this report to the Pizza Pets team to see if they can do something about this. But some of this might just have to be with the fact that they have to optimize costs for the transactions that are being processed. Otherwise, they would end up losing money on each transaction. So for you as a person that's looking at the game, don't wait till the last minute to feed your pets or to clean the poop or to do any other activities. Give yourself ample time to have those activities going through. All right, so I've just noticed my send transaction where I would have sent to clean the poop has actually just processed, and unfortunately because of the fee that was associated with the received transaction, not only did it get pushed to a block prior, it is now getting pushed even further to a block after that, right? And that is obviously very, very frustrating because you have to wait quite a bit for this transaction to go through. But luckily, I'm going to show you a trick where you can associate a custom fee to push these transactions through faster. That's the point of this video. I wanted to showcase the problems that you might face so far by going through something like this, and then also showcase some ways that you can mitigate that. Once again, these things are to be expected on a newer technology like this. The first time that a game at large, at scale, has been developed on Bitcoin with this complexity. This is akin to like for some of the first few websites that were developed on the internet itself. And the folks behind this game are really pushing Bitcoin to the edge and what's possible on Bitcoin to the edge. So I'm sure they'll also be looking at this video, and hopefully we'll be making some adjustments on the fee flow so people don't have to do the workarounds that I'm going to show a little bit later in order to make sure that their transactions continue to go through. But I'm really excited to show you those workarounds. I am not going to speed this transaction up because I want to document how long it actually takes for it to process in the normal way. And then I'm going to show you some tricks that you can use in order to speed it up later in the video. So I'm going to go ahead and save you from waiting. At this point, the first set of transactions, I believe, took roughly, so here you go, a block just confirmed as we are on here, but mine will take another few minutes, I guess over 10 minutes to confirm. So the first set of transactions right here, they took about 21 minutes for this one. And then, so that was confirmed at 18:45 my time over here. And then the transaction after that was confirmed at 18:51. So if you look at this one, I had submitted this one 40 minutes ago at this point, or this was confirmed 40 minutes ago, and it took 21 minutes to confirm. So that means I've been waiting over an hour from the first transaction for the whole process to complete, where I have fed and then I'm trying to clean the poop now. So obviously some of it is just Bitcoin itself, but the other part of it, like where could we have sped this up? So for example, I waited 40 minutes here. Both of those transactions could have gone through at the same time instead of this one going through in the following block 35 minutes ago. So that was a little bit of an extra time. And then right now there can be time savings by optimizing the app or by using the workarounds I'm going to share, where this one was confirmed 10 minutes ago and it took 20 minutes. So that means 30 minutes I've been waiting here. And now this one I have to wait. Again, it was first seen 30 minutes ago. I'm still waiting for it. So there are some things that can be done on the app side that I'm sure the feedback will be picked up, but other things that I'm going to show you where you don't have to wait as long because I'm going the normal route. But there are some really easy tricks to use by increasing the fee size to send these through a little bit faster. Okay, finally, so the second transaction, which was going to receive the update after the poop has been cleaned, has also just completed processing after 30 minutes of total wait time. The first one that I sent through took 20 minutes of wait time. So it's been an hour that I have waited to process the food, the pizza feeding, and then for that to confirm to increase the hearts. Then 2 of the pets pooped. Then I had to wait, another 30 minutes. So the total wait time so far has been an hour, which is obviously quite a bit. So again, emphasizing that make sure you give ample time to feed your pets. But now, as you can see, the pets that I had selected, the poop icon is gone from there, and we don't have to worry about that anymore. So now I want to show you some advanced techniques that you can use. So we're going to cover that in the section Advanced Feeding and Evolution Techniques. And in this section, I want to talk about performance enhancement drugs and other techniques that you can use so that you don't have to keep going through the cycle. I'm also going to be covering how you can use custom feeds to speed some things up. So as you saw, we fed our pets pizza and that was all well and good. But there's a couple of things that happen as a result of that. One, some of the pets pooped, so that meant we had to spend more money on another transaction to clean up that poop. So I want to show you a way where you can kind of optimize some things. So a couple of things that we want to explore. First, we want to explore the fact that there is an option here that's called cocaine. So I'm going to the next set of pets so that we can differentiate what we did with different set of pets. So on my second page, I'm going to select a few pets and I'm going to give them cocaine. So what cocaine is going to do is, as you can see right here on the screen, so cocaine stops heart loss. It reduces heart loss rate to 0, but the pet dies after 3 days. So I have to keep that in mind, that I have to go and remove the cocaine effect so that the pet does not die. So a couple of things to think about over there in terms of setting your alarms for when you need to come and feed them. So I am going to be feeding these pets cocaine. Let's go ahead and send them on the bender. So I'm going to select all the pets on this page. And then I'm going to, after this transaction processes, I'm going to try to feed them steroids. So how am I going to observe the difference here? So as you can see for these pets, they are evolving in 5.7 days. And I want to look at this in a bit of a better view. And in order to do that, I'm going to open this up in the secondary tab so that it's easier to see. So my first set of 6 pets, I believe, are going to be these ones at the top. Yep. And you can see, or 5 pets, I guess. Yep. So 3.5 hearts for all the first set of 5 pets. And then these are the next set of 5 pets. So if I open them up right now, this is the first of the next set of 5 pets that I'm going to give cocaine to. I'll activate this, turn off the music so we can talk. So 5.7 days to evolves in 807 blocks. So what I want to experiment with is giving it cocaine so its heart decline rate stops. And then I also want to give it steroids so it can evolve faster. And actually, you know what? I'm going to do that not with these pets. Now that I think about it, I'm going to do it with the same set of 5 pets as before because they have plenty of heart health. So if I'm going to experiment, I'm going to do it with those so that my pets don't die. So let me go ahead and unselect all of these, go back to the first page and select all these guys. And I'm going to select cocaine. And I'm not going to go with the high fee that they're recommending because I don't want to wait like 40 minutes for these transactions to go through and my transaction keeps getting pushed to the next block. So if the fee here is 5 sats per V-byte, I'm going to mess around with it a little bit. And this is now up to you how like if you're not in a hurry, I'm obviously recording this video, so I don't want to keep sitting here. I've already been here for an hour and I paused the video. I don't want to do that. If you're not in a hurry, you can just send it through with the regular fee. And that would be the most optimal cost mechanic for you. For me, I don't have that kind of patience. So I'm going to up this to 15 sats per V-byte. I want to make sure my eyes are not so good. So I want to make sure that this does say 15. And yep. So we have 15 sats per V-byte over here, which is 3 times the high fee, which means it should go through faster. But let's take a look what happens. Now, you cannot combine other elements with cocaine, as you can see over here. So that's why I have to do one transaction with cocaine and another one with steroids. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Keep in mind that this does tend to refresh every few seconds. So now we're going in with the right fee. I'm going to submit this and let's see what fee it goes with on the Explorer. Now you'll notice once again that there are going to be 2 transactions. One is going to be the send transaction and I'm going to see, I guess there should be a receive transaction that's popping up too. The first time I could have sworn that I only saw a send transaction and a receive transaction came a little bit later, but we'll see. So you can see right here, perfect. So this is 32 sats per V-byte. So what's happened is I sent in with 16 and I don't know why it turned into 32 sats over here. I'm guessing it's going to be split between this one and the next one. That's probably why, because the way Bitcoin transaction works is that it splits the fee if there's 2 transactions being sent. But right now, this one is definitely going to go through at 32 sats per V-byte. And I want to see how long it takes for the secondary transaction to be generated. Here you go. So the second transaction is generated. This is definitely being generated from their server. And you can see the second one is at 14 sats per V-byte, which is great. And that means that it is very unlikely that my transaction is going to get pushed out because the fees right now are 6 sats per V-byte. And for someone impatient like me, I like that. Now we're going to see what happens with these pets go on a bender with cocaine. Their heart health decline should stop. And then I'm going to experiment by feeding them all steroids. So my strategy here is give it cocaine to stop the heart health decline. And once that stops, I have 3 days to continue to feed it steroids. There's another way you can do this, which is by giving it DMT. And the DMT route, you give it DMT and your pet has a 51% chance of survival. So it has a 50% chance that it will evolve or it could die immediately. So that would be the other route. Instead of, continuing to do transaction giving it steroids, you can give it DMT. So we'll see. The benefit of the cocaine steroid approach is that the pet won't poop because you're not feeding it anything, and it won't lose heart, so you don't need to feed it anything. So those are some techniques that you can go through. First one being the mixture of cocaine and steroids. Second one being DMT, which is more on the gambling route of things. But something to consider that we'll cover in the future dynamics is the pets that evolve. Right now, these pets are in the baby stage. So they're going to go through the evolution phase from baby to teen from baby to child to teen, from teen to adult, and then finally to immortal. All right, I told you that my hack was going to work. Instead of waiting 40 plus minutes to use a regular feed route because of the feed route that I use. I know it said overpaid, but whatever. I don't care right now. You know, it's 26 bucks to get to what I want to get to. Of course, as I told you, there's no need to do this. This is because I'm impatient. I don't want to wait. So this got done in 6 minutes, guys. I didn't have to wait for it to go to different blocks. And I believe both of the transactions got processed. So that's great, which means we can see now. You can see the pets are on cooking. This is great. They're on a bender and they are flying around, and we can actually, let me open up in the bigger view. You can see the little cocaine icon right here. They are having a good time. Of course, I'm not encouraging anyone to be doing drugs. This is just a game. This is just dramatization. So this dude is on cocaine now, and is not losing any hard health. So still 801 blocks because 2 blocks have processed. So don't mistake. I haven't given it storage yet. Okay, so like I've said, it took a second to index everything, and then the pets showed up again on my wallet. So this is because all of the things that are happening in the background, don't want to get into this video, where the pets are actually being fed and the actions are being taken, and then they show up into the wallet, and that indexing can take some time. So my transaction process is so fast that process of indexing the server and updating took a minute, and now I can see the pets over here. So as I mentioned before, I had the experience previously of, you know, where when I took an action, it didn't refresh the page, it acted up a little. So I'm going to do a hard refresh, and I've done that. Then I'm going to select all these pets, and it is now time. So let's take a look over here right now. It's saying 800 blocks, and it's going to go down by a little bit because each block is going to continue to process during that time, but I'm wanting it to go down by a lot. So let's go ahead and give it some steroids to do that. We're going to once again hack our way into the mempool fees. I don't want to do 5 sats per byte, so I'm going to do a little bit higher. So I'm going to do custom. So I'm going to go ahead and submit that, and let's shoot it through. And we will also see if 2 transactions came through this time. I'm going to close these extra pages, and this transaction is being processed. So this one came with 30 once again. And let's see, do we have a send and receive? Yep, we have a send and receive transaction. Second one with 13 sats per byte. It should also process in the same block, which is great. And what we're going to want to see, so all these guys are getting storage. So we're going to want to see is like this coming down, instead of going from 800 to, you know, 799, 798, 790, whatever. I want to see if it comes down to like 600s and 500 blocks. All right, for those of you out there that are impatient like me, you're going to love this, because this next one also got submitted in 6 minutes. And then as you can see over here as well, both the send and receive got processed in 6 minutes, which is great. I have a feeling my pets are going to disappear here again though. So let me go ahead and do that when I hard refresh, because their indexing server, as we noticed previously, was taking a minute for things to process. But let's see, maybe not. Okay, they're still there sometimes. Okay, and now you have another icon. So I have a pet in a full screen view, and the way to do that is by clicking my pets. And then when you click my pets, you can click any one of them to actually bring them up in full screen view. So I have one already in full screen view here. So you can see we have the cocaine icon and the storage icon. So now it went from 5 days to 3.7 days. I want to see how many blocks improvement. So you can see it went from 800 blocks to 532 blocks. So I'll have to think of some other interesting strategies. A few more things I do want to show you is LSD. So you can give your pets LSD, and if you give it LSD, it basically pauses the game for 14 days. So right here, it shows LSD will pause the game for 14 days. Your evolution rate stops, your heart loss rate stops, but you have to make sure you come give it milk. So just like I give it milk right now to remove the effects of drugs, if you give it cocaine, it is going to stop heart loss. And then you can continue to give it steroids instead of giving it food if you don't want to keep cleaning up the poop. I think that's still an effective way to do this. So that means that you're going to go ahead and give it steroids, and then you're going to need to give it, I guess you're going to need to give it milk to clean the effect of the cocaine. And then you're going to need to give it cocaine again right after in order to, well, if you give it milk, then you have to give it steroids too. Very complicated, right? So as I was just mentioning, with LSD, you can pause the game for 14 days. It stops the evolution rate and the heart rate. So that way you can just, go on vacation or something. The other strategies that are available is obviously you can go either by the normal strategy of feeding it pizza and beer and then cleaning its poop with a shower when that comes up, or you can be in more control and give it cocaine and steroids. But it the only benefit is that you don't have to clean poop. But once you give it, the way to give it cocaine and steroids would be to give it cocaine first and then to give it steroids. But after 3 days, you have to come and remove the cocaine effect so your pet doesn't die with milk. When you do that, the steroid effect goes away too. So once again, you have to give it cocaine and you have to give it steroids again in order for that evolution process to start once more. So you do have a bit of a caveat over there that evolution process still requires you to do. It would be a transaction with milk to remove the effects, a transaction with cocaine to preserve the heart, and a third transaction with steroids to continue evolution faster. So it's 3 transactions versus giving it pizza or beer, which is 1 transaction, and then giving it a shower, which is a 2nd transaction. So that's still the cheapest way to play the game, which is the normal way. Gaming the system by trying to combine cocaine and steroids while will help you evolve faster will be a bit more risky. So the other way to evolve faster is by using DMT. It's a higher risk, and I'm going to make a separate video where I'm going to just talk about how you can use DMT and use some game mechanics to try to game the system and to try to not necessarily game the system, but to use it to your advantage and try to sell some of these pets that have evolved. You also have an option that's interesting to give Molly to keep your pets in a baby or an egg stage. If you give the pet Molly to evolve it to or reverse evolution to a baby or pet stage, then you're safe from the pet pulverizer, which is going to come out soon. The pet pulverizer does not affect pets that are in the baby or the pet stage. So that's just something to know as well. Okay, so we've covered a lot in this video. It's a bit of a longer one. I'll continue to post some updates as they come along. I hope you found this helpful. I didn't ask actually earlier if you were enjoying the video to take a moment to like this and also subscribe to the channel to follow future videos. It really helps the channel get rated on YouTube and on X. Also on X, give it a moment to like and repost this. And let me know in the comments what questions you have, what kind of content you'd like to see in the future, and I'll see you in a future video.